Hello all. Today we are doing slope-intercept form, which remember, y equals mx plus b, where the m and the b represent things which we need to know before going into this. M represents the slope. Remember, the slope is the steepness of our line. Remember, so not so steep, extremely steep probably. We can figure out the steepness when we have points by doing y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which will give us the slope. The other thing is the y-intercept. This tells us where does our line cross the y-axis. So we need to know both of these things before we can write it in this form. We can solve both of these by doing in problems like this. So this problem right here states, so if we know our slope is m equals -2, remember m represents our slope, through the points -2, 2. So first off what I did is I did this two different ways. I graphed it right here. So by graphing it, -2, +2, so left 2, up 2. Now I know since my slope is -2, that actually means that it's going to be -2 over 1. And since I know it's my vertical change over my horizontal change, I'm going to go down 2 because that's negative. So we went down 2, right 1, because remember on a graph, right's positive. So down 2, right 1, down 2, right 1, and I can keep doing that until I come to the point that will touch my y-axis. I can then see that it's clearly going to be 0, -2. So I know my y-axis, or my y-intercept is going to be -2. I can also do this a separate way by doing it with the formula. So over here, as you can see, we have y equals mx plus b. I've gone ahead, since I know my slope, filled in that missing part right there, so y equals -2x plus b. Then, using the one point I had, I took the x and the y coordinate from that and just plugged it into my equation for y and for x. So now we have 2, because of that, equals -2 times -2 plus b. So now using some multi-step equational skills, we can figure out that -2 times -2 is going to be +4 plus b equals 2. So we subtract 4, -2 equals b. So which draws us back now to our final answer, which would be y equals -2x minus 2. So our slope being -2 and our y-intercept being -2. Alright? So this one right here is slightly different. Using the points -4, -2, and 4, 1, find the slope-intercept form of this equation. So again, this time we don't know our slope to start, so we have to be able to figure that out. So we can do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or I can just draw a picture, whichever one you prefer. Personally, I drew a picture. So I graphed my 2 points and I connected them with the line. Remember, we can use triangles to help us figure out slope. So I went up and then to the right. So remember, I went +3 and +8. So my vertical change was 3 while my horizontal change was 8. So my slope would be 3 over 8. So now, over here, I can kind of look until where I think the y-intercept is, but it's kind of tricky because it's in between numbers. So for this one, I was going to use the formula. So again, y equals mx plus b, where I'm going to fill in the slope now that I know it. So y equals 3/8x plus b. Then we have the point right here. I picked the 4, 1. It seemed a little bit easier than the -4, -2. So then I plug in the y right here. So 1 equals 3/8, parentheses, I plugged in the 4 plus b. So we know that if we multiply the numerators, it will be 3 times 4 will be 12 over 8, which will end up being 1.5. So 1 equals 1.5 plus b. We subtract 1.5, subtract 1.5. B is going to end up being equal, or b is equal to -0.5. So -1/2. So coming back now to our final answer, we may write it as y equals 3/8x minus 0.5, or y equals 3/8x minus 1/2. Whew, it's kind of a mouthful. But so right here, this is how we can use slope-intercept to help us get the equation for our linear line. Alright, hope you enjoyed.